Hello Exile, you're watching Altek2k Gaming. In this one we're going to run Act 10. We are on our Poisonous Concoction Pathfinder. Up on the cathedral rooftop where we fought Kitava, turn left into here, and we got to save Bannon. And we're going to throw a load down there because that boss is going to come in and we want to get some on him quickly so it doesn't last long. And they're all down. Oh no, they're not. One's live. Bannon is now free and happy. Across the roof now, and we're going back to the town square. So right down the roof, and the exit is on the right-hand side of the roof, or the top side of the roof. Now it can be a bit challenging, because sometimes the path down the roof is on the left-hand side through these exits. In this case, we're not too bad so far. That is a dead end. Now the exception to killing blues is if there's a lot of packs, and Act 10 seems to have a high concentration or high density of monsters, so you do want to kill more than you would normally, just to make sure you don't get overpowered and die. Okay, it's not that way. So this is what I mean, where you sometimes have to go off the side of the roof. There we go. So we're not taking any damage from this lot. Fairly plain sailing down the roof. And there we go. Into every square now, and we're going to run across, and we're going to go to the reliquary. We're not going to run the reliquary, we just want the waypoint. The natural obstacles are stopping me from killing things. Nice of it. And in we go. Grab the waypoint and straight back out. And now off to the left and down. We're going back to the control boxes, which is where we entered Act 5. Or this area of Act 5. And there it is. The waypoint has been destroyed, but there is another one. It's just here. I'm going to grab it. Not that there's any point in grabbing it, because we're never coming back here. Unless, of course, we accidentally die to the boss and then click Restart in Town, which would be very bad. Okay. And it's just back where the miasmeter is, so back through exactly the way we would come out in Act 5. You can see our poison is doing really nice work of these. Ow. Kill these pink things because they are in fact blue. Well, they're not, but you know what I mean. Okay, miasmeter. Obviously the miasmeter is gone because we picked it up, but there's now a door. And drop our wither totems. And hit him quite a few times. Now those beams hurt, so don't stand in them. And he's phased. Now going to fly across the arena, playing the role of a bomber. You want to try and avoid them and just kill the ads to keep everything up. And eventually he'll land, and you do want to detect when he lands, because he will start attacking you from miles away. You can see the poison is really doing its work now. The energy shield's staying up, because obviously Chaos bypasses energy shield. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely no problem for us at all. Pop some totems down just to help clear this stuff. That's an important note as well. If you do get some blues that are quite hard to kill, you can always drop Despair. And he is going down, and he's gone. Back in now and talk to Lani. Lani will give us a flask, and then a skill book for killing that guy that's there. And we'll activate that and put it on. Now we're going to come down here and start grabbing these flask nodes, because reduced flash charges used is really, really useful. And then go to the waypoint and back to the reliquary. This is why we got the reliquary, because it's a nice central point to come in and out of. We won't be using it again after this, but it's nice early on, because you'd have to then run up all the way to the ossuary. Okay. There's a lot of obstacles in here today. Probably the right amount, but feels like more. And in here we go to the left because we want to grab the ossuary waypoint. This is actually a really fast act. Grab the waypoint and then head straight across the top. And down here through this weird U-bend thing. Get a few of these and then into the torch courts again. Now, I have seen some players come back through here once they've killed whatever he's called. Innocence. Not Innocence. You know what I mean. The not innocence. You don't need to come back through here, is what I'm trying to say. You do in Act 5, not in Act 10. It's just a waste of time in Act 10. And we're trying to get back to the centre of the court, the actual courtroom itself, and I think we're here now. Run through. And we're going to run through here. Exactly what we were doing to get to innocence. This is it? This is it. In we go to the desecrated chambers. They're chambers that have been desecrated, hence the name. Kill those things. Now, someone asked for the path of building for this. It's not finalised yet, so I don't want to share it in the description. However, if you do want to see what it's like, I can share it in comments, and if enough people ask for it, I'll just put it in the description. But bear in mind, it is a work in progress until we get to maps. And I don't like releasing builds that aren't quite right yet. And then on Eldritch Battery, I don't want to go that high up the tree, so we're going to find an item that does it. And Mastermind drops something called the Devouring Diadem. Or Diadem. We will be using that. That gives us Eldritch Battery, along with some aura mana reduction, so we can fit another aura on. Should be quite useful. Obviously, you got to put your auras in the helmet then. I can't remember where we put them now, but they will need to move if they're not in the helmet. Kill these blue things. As usual, just get the XP, and we leveled. See those blue things actually sort of dying anyway? There's only one left. And in now to the Sanctum of Innocence. And apply the skill point. Now this guy has a ridiculous tank. And he does an awful lot of damage, so we want to stay away from him. Now, halfway through the fight, you'll start to see these beams coming down the arena, and they will move around. Do be careful, those beams apply a kind of bleed, but not bleed, so you can't take them off with the bleed flask, but they do a really nasty physical damage dot. So you want to avoid those at all cost. Ow! This could be death. If we're not incredibly careful, let my flash charges build back up. Do remember that when you're using poison, or this skill in particular, it uses your flash charges, so that could be why we're struggling, and that may be why we keep on whatever that skill thing is. That you know what I've done, don't you? We've hampered ourselves straight away. There we go, that's much faster. And out we go to the waypoint and straight back to town. Speak to Thingy, and he will turn into Innocence, and he will open up Kitava's horns. She offers us a chest. We're not going to do it because we've got a tabby. And these guys to give side quests. I don't normally run these side quests. And at this point, before we go and kill Kitava, I like to run the lab. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to run Merciless Lab. As usual, I will bring you back for the last fight, but I won't take you through the whole labyrinth. Okay, we are back. We did not get traps disabled, so this could be challenging. To make sure we get our totems down. Ow, poison. And we want to try and charge up our poison aura thing quickly so that we can use it against it. Ow. Stop teleporting me into trap sheet. Horrible person. This isn't the bad one though, because it's the localized hammer hit rather than the whole arena-wide thing, and we killed him. That was awfully quick. Time for our Ascendancy, and we are going to go for this one. This actually gives us more damage, because poisons inflict during flask effect have a 20% chance to deal 100% more damage. So double damage poisons is always nice. It's actually more than this by a little fraction. Now, I'm still torn between this one and this one. This is definitely more damage, but this should be much, much, much more defensive. So we're probably going to go this, but let's see how it goes. Now we exit, and it's time to go and kill Kitava. Back to the Ravaged Square, and we're going to go and talk to Innocence, who will open up Kitava's horns and let us in. Into the canals now. We're going to try and make as quick as pace of this as possible, because I do want to beat the 6 hours, and I have no idea where we are time-wise, but we will find out soon. That lab didn't take too long. But the traps were giving me a bit of a problem, so I did have to slow down when I got to traps. Just kill these blues. They're gone. Kill these things. And just shoot down the canals. The canals are a bit of a maze. So if I jump around a bit, it's just because I'm trying to save you me getting lost. Which would be awfully dull, of course, unless you're laughing at me, in which case it's perfectly acceptable. And I should have left them in. But I do like to make sure these videos are as short as possible, while still showing the full content, so as to keep them interesting and to the point. All our flasks are down, so we probably do want that Flask Ascendancy. Just heal back up, just in case we get hit hard. Now, our life is currently set at 2,000. I'd normally like it to be about 3,000 by now, or at least 2,500, so we're a bit low. And this no doubt comes from being part of this tree. Or the right-hand side of the tree, where there's not an awful lot of health. Now, it appears that a number of people have been having trouble with the Dominus fight. I think that's just really getting used to the fight and the mechanics, because it can be quite nasty. Because the build, for me, didn't seem to have many problems, but I have run that fight hundreds of times. If you do want me to do a guide to sort of the big bosses of the act, I can do that. If these aren't sufficient. Just let me know in the comments below. Just let me know which bosses in particular, because I don't want to do all of them, because some of them are really trivial. These things are just dropping dead. Our mana is... I think whenever we miss, we don't get any recharge, so that's probably what's causing it. I do get lost awfully in here sometimes. Now, once we get to the end of here, there'll be like a little arch over a bridge. Oh, we must have already done that. I can't remember doing it. Let's hope I don't jump into his attacks. What are we going to grab? We are going to grab 10% reduced flash charges used. Flasks applied to you have 5% increased effect, and 20% increased flash charges gained if you deal a critical strike recently. Up we go. Recently, I think, is 4 seconds. Now, we were standing in that without much of an issue. Normally, my characters can't do that, so... He says, that's only if you're hitting, of course. Ow, 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 ow! We should, of course, drop our Wither Tomes. Oh, I thought I was going to jump into something then. That would have been bad. We're going to activate that on the floor and just move out of the way to make sure we're completely safe. He's going to drop that thing, so the centre of the arena now can be dangerous. I'm just going to... I thought he was going to fire into that corner, and I want to avoid getting burnt to death. Funny that, really. How we like to avoid being burnt to death. Okay, we are absolutely decimating him now. Wither is definitely important. Keep it up all the time when you're fighting bosses. Look at that. Now, the reason this fight is so slow, even though we're doing loads of damage, is because it's multi-phased, so every time we phase him down to a certain level, he's indestructible and can't be targeted. You can see he's turned green. That means we've poisoned him. Most mobs get a green effect, but it's more evident on big bosses like Kitava. Now also, Kitava has a massive hitbox, so when we hit him with poisons, we're probably hitting with all of them. Which is a lot of extra poison, and he is dropping the last heart now, surely. And the heart is out. Let us try and burst it down quickly, because we have no life flash charges. Our poison is using them. Ow! And he's down. Talk to Lani, she will give us a 2-point skill book. And we will apply those to these poison nodes. Damage over time multiplier. I'm not sure if we're going to take any of these. We'll have to see. We may go for Chaos Resistance, if nothing else, but I'm also really interested in trying to get 1% of Chaos Damage over time multiplier per 4% Chaos Resistance to work quite nicely. We'll have to see how that goes. But, maps. And we did it in 5 hours, 6 minutes and 17 seconds. I have beaten my previous score by about 45 minutes, so this character is really broken. Strongly recommend it. I'll recommend it even more if it works in maps. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.